Hi class, welcome back to our week 8 online meeting. So we're going to talk about chapter 13 today. Now, since we already talked about chapter 12 last week, so this week only one chapter to talk about. And then again, just like before, if you have any questions about the topic, just ask me over the live chat box, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions as soon as I see them. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to talk about money. So what is money? Now, we all spent money before, so we all know what money looks like. But to be called money, money is actually very, very specific. Okay, so what is money? Now, money, well, we as I mentioned before, guys, to consumers and to you guys, we don't need money. What we need is money can buy. So you want a car, you want a house, but nobody want actual money. But in the economy, money really helps. Money is like the lubricant that make all the machine runs. So let me tell you a story. So this actually happened in late 1980s in Soviet Russia. Hi, Christy. So in Soviet Russia, the economy is going down and then nobody has any money. So it was almost Christmas. There was a cement company. They want to give a holiday bonus to the employees, but they don't have any money. So the company asks the employees, says, "Hey guys, for Christmas, what do you want?" And then like a typical Russian, people want vodka, so they want to drink some vodka. And then so the cement company went to the vodka company and says, "Hey, vodka company, can we exchange some cement for your vodka?" And then the vodka company says, "We don't need any cement, but we do owe some money to the farmer, so go talk to the farmer." So the vodka company went to the farmer, says, "Hey farmer, I know the vodka company owe you some money, and then let us give you some cement. We'll call even." And the farmer says, "I don't need any cement, but I do owe some money to the power company. Go talk to the power company." So the cement company went to the power company, and then they work out a deal. The cement company built the power company a little concrete shed or concrete house, and then the power company forgive the debt from the farmer. Farmer forgive the debt from the vodka company. At the very end for Christmas, the employee at the cement company got vodka for Christmas. Now this worked, but it was very, very inefficient. So this, when you change good directly for another good, this is called a barter. So barter, this definition here, so it's when you change one good for another good. This works sometimes, but it's very, very inefficient. But if you have money, you don't have to go through all the trouble. You can just go directly to the vodka company and buy the vodka. So therefore, we do, even though we don't want to have money, but for our economy, money make everything run smoothly. So we do need money for the economy. All right. So what is money then? So money, usually we see money as a good medium of exchange. You can use money to exchange for something else. So which means both buyer and seller must be able to or willing to accept this medium exchange to become money. So a very simple definition is that anything generally accepted as a medium exchange, that's money. So our currency is money. But if you think about it, that if currency is money, does it mean money are currencies? Not necessarily, because we're going to have some money that's not currency. So, for example, if you look at all the commodity money, so commodity money means money by itself has its own value. So stuff like gold, silver, diamonds, those are commodity money, and by itself has its own value. They're not currency, but they're still money. Okay, so for money for something to be called money, must satisfy these three criteria. So first, money must be a very good medium of exchange. Second, money must be a very good store value. And last one, money must be a very good standard value. So for medium exchange, again, this is just anything the buyer and seller are willing to accept. Store value, that means if you hold on to it, it has same or a little higher value in the near future. And then last one, standard value. That means you can use this good to measure the value of something else. So we can say that 1 ounce of gold is equivalent to maybe I don't know 0.25 carat of diamond. So therefore, your gold can be used as a standard of value to measure the value of something else. And then, guys, if you read your U.S. history in the very beginning of the U.S. colonial days, so with all the colonists in America, money was horses. So people were using horses as money, so to trade. Okay. All right. So let's talk about money supply. Now, money supply. There are two categories for money supply, or two distinctions. First is called M1. So M1, they are money held by public or currency held by public, so cash in the public, plus balance in your transaction account. So that will be your checking account over here. So it's your currency and then plus money in checking. Let me do this. All right, so traveler check, that's your M1, and then checking account also in M1. Many of you guys probably haven't heard of traveler check before, and most of you guys probably never even seen one before. So let me show you what that looks like. Now, I don't have any traveler checks, and I don't think anybody today have any traveler check at all. So let's Google that. So like everything else in life, that you can always Google it. Let's look at what traveler checks looks like. Image. All right, so this is a traveler check. Notice how you have this logo here. That's the logo from American Express. So for all the traveler check in the economy anywhere, they're only issued by one company, American Express. Now there are some benefits of traveler checks. Now, first of all, you see how the value is already printed on here, so you cannot change the value. So you cannot, you don't request traveler check. You go buy traveler checks. So you go to a local bank. You can go buy a traveler check. You can take this with you. Anywhere you go, this is just like cash. So first of all, put your name on it. So you're gonna write your name over here, and then that is your check, and then you can spend it anywhere like just like cash. Okay. Now the reason why we don't have traveler checks anymore is because we're using more credit card and debit cards, and they're just like traveler checks, so therefore we don't use it anymore. Okay, and then the benefit for traveler check is that first is very secure. If you lose it, you can always replace one, and then second, it's accepted everywhere you go, so it's easy to carry and it's widely accepted. But that's the same thing your credit card and debit card does. So today, with more of the card transactions, we don't need traveler checks anymore. Okay. All right, so that's M1. So this is all the cash you have, plus your traveler check, plus your checking account. Now, the reason why we call them M1, because everything in M1, they are very liquidable. Now, liquidable means you can convert it to cash very quickly. Okay, now, next category is called M2. M2 is everything in M1. So it's your M1 and then plus a lot of other stuff. And this other stuff, they're your saving account and a money market mutual fund. And also, I think your book mentioned something called a CD. Now, CD stands for certificate deposit. So it's just like a saving account, but with a time frame on it. Okay, so M1 is all the liquidable money or saving. M2 is everything in M1, so it has M1 in it, and then plus saving account, money market mutual fund. When we talk about money supply in this chapter and also in the later chapters, we mean M2. So it's your M1 plus everything else. All right, so this is some real numbers. So for US economy, that if you look at M1, it's only about $2.8 trillion, but for M2, it's $11.3 trillion. So we have a lot more M2 than what is in M1. And the reason why that is that, guys, you want to take this into your head. Okay, so money is more than how much cash we have. So let me repeat. Okay, so money is more than how much cash we have. So and then money doesn't always come from when the banks or when the Federal Reserve print more money. Money happens when the banks offer more lending. Okay, so I'm going to show you this later in this chapter. All right, now for the banks, for many of you business majors, you guys will be taking an accounting class, and in your accounting class, you'll learn what is your asset, what's your liability. So asset in the bank is anything has a value on it, that's an asset, and a liability is what the banks owe to other people. And then in your accounting book, in your accounting class, you should learn that your asset always equal to liability plus equity. Okay, and if you look at your balance sheet, it's asset on the left, and then liability plus equity on the right. So that's your balance sheet. So creation of money. So for all the cash we have, it's only a small part of M2, but M2 is our total money supply. So where does all the money come from? Let me show you one simple example. So suppose we have a person. Let's call this person A, and a person A will deposit $100 into a bank. Now, at this time, how much cash do we have in the economy? Well, how much money do we have in the economy? We have $100 of money in the economy, right? That's from person A deposit into a bank. Now, next, bank will lend the money out, so offer a loan to person B for $100. Now, at this point, if you look at how much money you have in the economy, it's going to be more than $100. Because if you ask person B, hey, how much money do you have? And then person B says, oh, I have $100 because I borrowed this from the bank. So that's 100. And then if you ask person A, hey, how much money do you have? And he will tell you that I have $100 deposit in the bank. That's also $100. So $100 cash can be turned to $200 of total money supply. And then the reason why that happens is because of this loan over here. So every time when the bank offer more lending, that is the creation of money. That's where money comes from. So the more lending you offer, the more amount of money you have in the economy. All right, so bank create money by making loans. So this is where the money creation coming from. Now, I mean, sure, every time when the Federal Reserve print more cash, there's more money available, but we rarely ever do that. We keep the same amount of cash in the economy. The only thing we do is that anytime when the bank offer more lending, that's where the money come from. So money creation coming from when the bank making loans to borrower. All right. Now know what's a bank reserve. So for our banking system, we follow something called a fractional reserve banking system. Now what that means for every deposit you have in the bank, a portion of the deposit must be held in the bank as cash. And the reason why that is because we want the depositors to withdraw the money when the money is there. So imagine that we don't have this fractional reserve, and then we'll allow every individual bank to loan out everything they have. So if you deposit $100, and then the bank will loan out $100. Now the next day when you go to the bank withdraw the money, well, the money is not there anymore. Then what do? Right? So at least to meet your deposit obligations, each individual bank must hold a portion of the deposit in the bank as a bank reserve. So this bank reserve, think the word reserve as your cash in the bank. Okay, that's your reserve. All right, and then for this bank reserve, the requirement is set by our Federal Reserve. And then the requirement is called the required reserve. So that's how much money you require to have by the bank in the bank as term of cash. And then to determine how much is your required reserve, we need to know what is our required reserve ratio. So it's the ratio of the bank's required reserve to total deposit. So this formula is important. Your required reserve, how much money you require to have, what equals to your required reserve ratio. So this percentage times how much is your total deposit. Now, next, something called an excess reserve. So excess reserve is the total reserve minus required reserve. So again, this word reserve just means how much cash. So how much cash do you have in the bank today minus how much cash do you require to have, and then you know how much is your excess cash. Now this excess cash here, if you're a bank, you want to keep your excess cash as minimum as possible. Because for all the cash you have in the bank that you're not lending them out, you're not making any profit out of the money. So you want to lend everything out. But if you have any excess reserve, you can offer additional lendings in the economy. And this excess reserve equals to your total reserve, so how much cash you have on hand minus how much you're required to hold on hand. That is your excess reserve. All right. Talk about this. Oh, this is important. So something called a money multiplier. Now, money multiplier is that when you offer this so once you offer this excess reserve to the public as a loan, then public will take this money and then buy more stuff. And also some of the money will be deposited back into the bank. And then once it deposited back into the bank can offer more lending. That means even more spending in the economy. And then, so the money never stops. I mean, it will stop eventually, but it's like a snowball effect. It keeps rolling, 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 rolling. So a small amount of excess reserve can turn into a huge amount of money supply. And this effect is called a money multiplier. We should write this down here. So it's the amount of deposit dollar that the banking system can create from $1 of excess reserve. That's called money multiplier. And then here's the formula for it. So it's 1 divided by the required reserve ratio. So let's suppose if your required reserve ratio is 20%, then your money multiplier will be 1 divided by 20%. That will give you 5. That means if you take $1 deposit, this can turn into $5 of total money supply in the economy. Okay. All right. So and last one. So excess reserve times money multiplier. This is your potential deposit creation. All right. So let's look at this question here. So if your required reserve 0.2, so 0.2, and then if you do the money multiplier, that equals to 1 divided by required reserve ratio. So this is 1 over 0.2, which is just 5. And then initial deposit of $100 as $80. So we deposit, so total reserve is $100. And then your required reserve will be the 0.2 times 100. So the required reserve is 20. And then your excess reserve will be 100 minus 20. So it's 80. And then lastly, then how much is your potential deposit creation? We're going to take our excess reserve, which is 80, times money multiplier 5, so give you 400 of potential deposit creation. So $100 of initial deposit can turn into $400 of deposit creations, okay? Or increase the money supply by $400. All right, let's keep going. Important. All right, so I believe this is the last slide of the chapter. So constraints on deposit creation. So just because the banks and the public have the power to create more money doesn't mean that they will create more money. Now, first of all, how much money you can create depends on how much your deposit is. So the more deposit you have in the bank, the more money creation you have, and then vice versa. If people don't deposit money, then nobody go to the bank to save money, then there's no deposit, and therefore there's no money for lending. Okay, so the number one constraint on deposit creation is how many deposits you actually have. And number two constraint is the willingness to lend. So just because the bank has money doesn't mean the bank want to lend the money out. So guys, suppose that I want to buy a house. Any idea how much is the most expensive house in Houston? Let me show you. There is a website. It's called har.com. Let's take a look. The most expensive house in Houston. Let me do. Nope, no survey. More filter. Let's do Houston. All right, so that's a piece of land that doesn't count. That's $25 million. Now here, this is the most expensive house in Houston. So it's 2 Longfellow Lane, Houston, Texas 77005, and it will cost you $18 million. And by the way, this home is next door to Memorial Park, so it's really in the middle of everything. Has 5 bedrooms, 5 and 3 half bath, 12,000 square feet. So it's a huge house. And then here's some pictures you have on the house. That's your front entrance. That's the staircase, front door. Your living room is here. Another shot of living room. So it's a huge living room. You have a dining room over here, very fancy. See the wallpaper on the dining room? And look at that. And then what else do we have? We have, believe this is another living room with a fireplace. One shot of the kitchen. So there's a kitchen there, and another shot of the kitchen. Look at all the stuff they have. This is very nice stuff. I mean, no wonder this cost you $18 million. So this looks like study. You have a sunroom, okay? You have another study. So this one's your master bedroom. Another shot of a master bedroom. Your master bathroom. Wow, that's a very nice master bathroom. Oh, look at this. You even have a fireplace in the master bedroom. Wow, that's fancy. Yeah, another shot of. So this is another bedroom. That's a huge bedroom. Okay, another bathroom. Oh my God, people. This is another shot of the same bathroom. That's a huge bathroom with all the stuff in it. One more bedroom. Another bedroom. Remember, there are total 5 bedrooms. Okay, you have an entertainment room. Okay, look at this. You have your own gym. And it's overlooking Herman Park. It's very pretty. Another living room. Notice this, guys. What is this? This house have 2 kitchens, right? One kitchen for the owner, and then probably another kitchen for somebody else. Okay, for the guests. And then you have a pool, and then this is your front door. 3-car garage, and a little patio area. And then that's your landscape in the backyard. So yeah, this will cost you $18 million. So guys, if I go to the bank, borrow money. So suppose I go to the bank and say, hey bank, I want to borrow $18 million. Can you give it to me? Now, if you're the bank, you probably won't give me the money. And the reason why is that I might not be able to pay them back. So the bank must be willing to lend the money out. And then one determinant for the willingness to lend is how much risk is involved. So there's too much risk, then it doesn't matter how much the money bank has, they won't lend the money out. Because why? If you lend the money out, if the borrower don't pay the money back, then the bank lost the money. So that's bad, right? So willingness to lend is also an important factor. And last one is willingness to borrow. So just because sometimes the banks are willing to give the money, then do we want to borrow the money? This sounds pretty. It's not very obvious. Why don't you want to borrow the money? Well, it's just that we don't have the need to borrow money sometimes. What if there's nothing you want to buy, or what if you're afraid that you might not be able to pay the money back? So willingness to borrow from the borrower side is also important to our money equation. And last one, very important, is regulation. So remember, the Federal Reserve set how much our required reserve requirement is. So every time this regulation will affect how much is our money supply is. Okay. All right. So so guys, this is the end of the chapter. Let me see a couple of people here. We have Christy, who's still here. Very good. We have the Kwang is here, and then Bao. All right, guys. Does anybody have any question for this topic? If no questions, we're gonna end it early today. Okay, all right, guys. If you no questions, then do your homeworks, and then for your exam 2 grade, I will post your actual points on there this week, and then you will see it probably by the end of tomorrow. Okay. So any question, let me know, and then good luck on your homework and quizzes. I will see you guys next week. See you later. Bye bye.